Happy Tuesday, guys. Welcome to another edition of a Puck Time, and it is $5 Customer Appreciation Day over at WagerTalk with several cappers having plays up for $5. These are plays that I'm going to go for $25 and $35. And we're going to have some NHL ones. Today's show, the Prez in here for, and fresh off a 5% winner yesterday. Lucky he's happy. Hold on. And he's finally returning. This man has been so busy. He's all over the place. Andy Lang in here. He's going to give us a bunch of props. And then we are having a special segment today for you Pucksters. That's with a P, Pucksters with a P. We're having the Andy Lang Pucku same game parlay. The Pucku same game parlay. I absolutely love this play that he has for you guys today. And we know how much Prez loves parlays. So this is going to go over extremely well. We're going to cover the Leafs and Florida, Detroit and Montreal, and the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche. 3 games, all with their own level of importance. A winner for me last night with my best bet on the Calgary Flames in the regulation. They get it done. They got it done late, but they got it done. Prez, every game yesterday, with the exception of the Rangers game, every game yesterday, with the exception of the Rangers game, stayed under the total. It was unbelievable. How about the Edmonton Oilers? They probably do not want to see Dostal again. This guy stopped 47 shots yesterday, and that's 47 shots without Draisaitl, without McDavid.
Connor.
They had their chances, and then no empty net goal at the end to at least push the total, which was a free play that I gave out on the show. But congratulations to you, 5% winner on the Winnipeg Jets in regulation. You showed some cojones, sir, in choosing that one, not only to win against the Blues, who have won 12 straight, but in regulation as well, too.
Yeah, I was quite proud of myself, Carm, to be honest with you, but only towards the end of the game, because I loved the under in that game as well, and also loved the under in the LA Kings game, and both of those won. And going into the third period, I think it was 1-1 in the Winnipeg game, and I was like, oh God, the under is so the play. And I was like, I messed it up. And then Winnipeg scored. But it was a lopsided game from start to finish. St. Louis really didn't look great. They definitely did not shoot the puck a lot, and they really didn't carry the play. And my handicap was so simple, Carm, and it's actually quite relevant to the Montreal-Detroit game that we'll talk about later. And that is, and you came on WagerTalk, you on PuckTime discussed this yesterday. The Blues analytics had gone downhill the last 2 games that they had played in that 12-game winning streak. They got absolutely dominated by Colorado, even though they won that game. I think Colorado outshot them 39-21, outchanced them. Puck possession was lopsided, and I just felt like that was a sign that St. Louis was about to hit the skids. Loved that bet. I was excited to give it out. Watched the game. Yeah, pretty happy with myself. And I got another really great bet going tonight. It's $5 Tuesday, and I have a total tonight that I absolutely love.
That is good to hear. You know, when we talk about analytics, Prez, you know, like I talked about the Edmonton Oilers, Anaheim Ducks, and we talk about finishes. They had 47 shots on goal. They generated 4.47 of XG, yet only scored a couple of goals. The Ducks scored 3 on only 21 shots on goal, 1.56 of XG. Sometimes the post-game numbers will disappoint you, but with the Blues, you're absolutely correct. They had declining numbers. And I said, I don't want to call it smoke and mirrors because this team is putting in a great effort each and every night. And it's kind of like the Montreal Canadiens. If you have them down, you need to score another goal. You can't give this team any life because the Canadiens have been a scrappy team, and we'll talk about them in a couple of games. but we've talked enough. We got Andy Lang here. I love hanging in Vegas with Andy Lang, and we've got to do that again. Hopefully in June, when the NHL season is over, Andy will make it out there for contest season. But Andy, welcome to the show. How are you doing before we get into this first game?
I'm good. You and I both had the same situation last night, which is like, you make your bets, and you don't ever want to take the time of the game starting into account. But you and I both had a bet on the Flames, and then you look and you're like, oh God, they play the late game. And then you and I both were staying up late to watch our play, and it's just like, would this play please get over with? But we ended up cashing last night, so it's good. And this is the busiest week of 2025 for myself and for clients. We got the Masters, we have 5% UFC play, 5% PFL play. It is just an absolute monster week. But happy to be here, and we'll give out some winning props for sure.
Right, and you are a great run as well too, Andy. So kudos to you, especially with the 5% plays. So I wish you all the best this coming week. Well, all year, not just this week. I want to point that out.
Yeah, Andy. Only this week, Andy.
Only this week.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I know how big this week is for myself and for clients and for everybody jumping on board our 7-day special. So I will gladly take a really good week this week.
With that said, Prez, I'm going to go to you first. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers. This one opened up at around 120 Leafs. So it was 110 quickly after that. But money has been coming in on the Florida Panthers. They are now minus 135 in this game. The Florida Panthers are. I haven't seen any news yet from the morning skate, but I'm sure the morning we could see something going on maybe with the Toronto lineup. This one, Prez, I got to say, this one throws me for a loop just because I get it. We've talked about it, and you talked about it with Barnaby on the blue line. I'm not saying there's so many dynamics in play here with this Atlantic division. We talked about Florida, and they haven't been playing well, and maybe they back up into a wild card spot and play the Leafs in the first round instead of finishing third in the division and playing Tampa Bay. The Leafs are in the same boat. They have Tampa Bay right behind them, a game in hand in Tampa, on Tampa. But if they were to lose tonight to Florida in regulation, and then they play Tampa next and lose to Tampa all of a sudden is the number one seed, even though they're tied on points. Regulation wins is the first tiebreaker at 40. Tampa Bay would be in first place, and Toronto would still be set up to play
Quite
the Florida Panthers.
conundrum.
It is absolutely insane, everything that can go on in this division. That's great. 9 days left, and nothing is settled in the Atlantic Division because even Ottawa at 90 points is 2 points back of Florida with a shot at third in the Atlantic. Give me your thoughts on this word salad that I just came up with and what your thoughts are in this game.
Well, I mean, really quickly, yeah. I mean, a real conundrum here. Toronto wins. They're in the driver's seat to win the division. They still likely would play Ottawa, but not guaranteed. They could win the division and end up playing Florida. They could lose tonight, win next game, and win the division. I mean, there's so much going on here. So what do, Carm? We look at a total. I like Florida slightly in this game because I think subconsciously Toronto is going to sit there and be like, we don't want to play you guys. We're going to give you the win so that you remain above Ottawa. We'll take care of business against Tampa Bay. I will tell you this. If Toronto does lose tonight, I like them against Tampa Bay next game. So I do lean on Florida here, but Carm, the play is the under, and I like this play a lot. I mean, firstly, I do think it's going to be an intense hockey game between these two teams. It always seems to be. And the bottom line here is you look at Florida from an injury perspective, half their team is out tonight. We don't know exactly what will happen with Bennett and Reinhart. They are day to day. But you've got Barkov out, Forsling out. You got Kachuk out, Ekblad out. Bennett and Reinhart are both day to day. Who the hell is going to score more than 2 goals from this Florida team. And we have seen this game after game. They just scored 1 against Detroit, 0 against Ottawa, 2 against Toronto, 2 against Montreal, 2 against Montreal, 2 against Utah. That's right. Florida has not scored more than 2 goals in 6 straight hockey games. I don't see how they score more than 2 tonight. And given that I lean on them, that means a 2-1 hockey game. The Leafs put up 5 against Columbus, 3 against Florida, 3 against Anaheim, 3 against the Kings, 5-7. This team is scoring. But I think ultimately we're going to see them sort of calm down, if you will, tonight. I don't think they're going to be scoring a lot of goals. And when you look at the head-to-head matchup, I mean, the Leafs do not score against Florida. They put up 3 last game, sure. Before that, it was 2-1 and 2. And on top of all of that, Toronto defensively, and from a goaltending perspective, is lights freaking out. They've allowed 5 goals in their last 4 games. I like the under in this game, Carm. I think it's going to be 2/3-1. Kind of hoping Florida wins. I don't even know. Maybe Toronto. I don't know. As a Toronto fan, I don't even know what to cheer for here, but I love the under in this game, and I'm personally going to be betting it.
Well, you always are open to having the emotional hedge, Prez, where you bet on the Panthers, and if
I
they
don't know
lose,
if that's. But I don't know if that's. I don't know. I don't know if I want the Leafs to lose tonight, Carm. I'm baffled by the whole thing. But this is a betting show, so who cares about fandom? Take the under.
All right, the under. Before I go to Andy, because I didn't give a play on this game, I'm going to take Florida in the opening 20 minutes, minus 120, which is obviously a little bit better than the full game line at minus 135, I think. If one of these two teams can get out to an early start and have that first period lead, it's likely to go a long way to winning this game. We've seen teams struggle to come from behind for the last 2 or 3 weeks in the NHL. You get on top early, you end up winning the game. And off a terrible road trip, Florida, I think confidence build. They need a confidence building win. Again, I don't subscribe to the fact that teams can tank. It's just a phrase we love to use, whether you're at a bar with your friends or whether you're in front of a camera discussing it. Tanking doesn't exist. But with that said, Andy, first period for me, Florida minus 120. What do you got here?
Yeah, I agree that there's not many points in this game, so I'm going to take Brad Marchand will not have a point. Pretty good price. You know, he had a point in his first game with Florida, but no points the next 5 games. Prez did a good job talking about how the offense just isn't quite there. He's only averaging 3 shot attempts per game. That's not shots on goal. That's just 3 attempts. And Toronto's only allowed 5 goals total in the last 4 games. So he gets a tough matchup. Team's not scoring a lot of points. He's not scoring a lot of points. So I'll just take Marchand to not have a point tonight.
Carm.
All right. And
Carm,
with that said, I'm Steen. Yes, go ahead.
Have they announced the goaltender in the Leaf game tonight?
Not as of yet, but it is Bobrovsky for Florida, and someone posted that at the Florida Morning Skate in our live chat, and I love when they share this information that Barkov and Forsling are on the ice for the morning skate. Two good additions for them, but the line seems to be moving in Florida's favor, and it's getting a little bigger as we go. So you could have got them at even money overnight, but again, a lot of question marks, as you stated, Prez, with injuries to this Florida team, makes it a little tougher. With the line, you want to jump on it, but sometimes, as Brian Leonard says, when you've missed your number, you've missed your number. And it's better to stay off of it. Any follow-up thoughts?
I just wanted to mention, because, I'm super old and I've been in the sports betting industry for longer than many people have been alive. Many years ago, before the internet, because you mentioned how one of our listeners talked about the morning skate. Many years ago, before the internet, huge gamblers would pay season ticket holders to go early to the games to report who was on the ice, who was not on the ice, and how they were looking on the ice. That doesn't happen much anymore, but I thought it was a neat story because before the internet, man, information was so tough to come by. They would pay stewardesses and pilots to get their hands on local newspapers as the planes from, Idaho or LA or wherever would land in Vegas. They would grab all the newspapers to read the beat writers of those cities to try and get an advantage on the sports books. So I just thought that was a cool story. I'll shut up.
Well, you're right. You're definitely old, but you did say something after that. But the funny thing is, Prez, is I understand completely. I remember going to Vegas, and I age myself by saying this, but I remember going to Vegas where if you pulled out your phone in the sports book, security was on you within seconds.
Yeah.
To make you leave the area. You were not allowed a cell phone in the sports book at any point. So I do get that. Paul Maurice does confirm that Barkov will be in the lineup tonight. Nico Sturm and Kulikov were on the ice this morning as well for the morning skate. Matthew Tkachuk was on the ice, but skating on his own this morning. So as you stated yesterday, Prez, he'll be ready just in time for the playoffs.
It's amazing, right? Because Kucherov, Stone, and Tkachuk all use the exact same doctor, and this doctor is capable of getting you better to the exact day that you require being better. Unbelievable. He's the greatest doctor in the world. Literally, you want to be better on April 12th at 7 p.m. and you have 6 months of work to do? Done, I say. Very impressive doctor. Very, very impressive. Shout out to the doctor.
Doctor, I improve you. With that said, Detroit Red Wings, Montreal Canadiens. Canadiens minus 125, Detroit plus 105. Total's 5.5 here. 25 cents on the over. I'm going to go to Andy first on this one for a prop bet. I will say this, guys. This is the Detroit's season tonight. It is do or die. And from an analytics point of view, Detroit needs to win this game in regulation. Their actual percentage will decrease if this game goes to overtime, regardless of whether they win or not. Obviously, if they win, it is good for them, but it decreases as opposed to winning in regulation. They need the 2 points in regulation. It's one of the reasons why I'm leaning to the over here at 5.5. I could very well see the Red Wings, who are 6 points back, pulling their goalie in any game that is even tied late in the third period. It could get us to the over. We shall see, but over 5.5 for me in this one. Andy, what do you got in this game for us?
I'll take a look at Cole Caulfield to go over 2.5 shots on goal. He's been doing really well, 3 in a row, 4 out of the last 5. Last 5 games, I love his shot attempts, averaging 5 exactly shot attempts, but really good efficiency, 3.2 shots on goal. So when he's shooting it, it's getting the goalkeeper. Detroit gives up 28.7 shots on goal. That's 26th in the league. And really crazy. Yeah, even just going back earlier this season and last season, the season before, he's gone over in 8 out of the last 9 games that he's played Detroit. So for whatever reason, this is just a really good matchup for him against Detroit. So Caulfield over 2.5 shots on goal. Best prop in this game.
All right. Prez, I know you're such a huge Red Wings fan, mainly because of your close relationship with Johnny Detroit. Give us your thoughts on this game, because I know that you're a huge Canadiens fan as well too. If you weren't a Leaf fan, you'd probably be a Habs fan. So give us your thoughts on this one.
Yes. My 2 favorite teams of all time, Detroit and Montreal. Listen, Carm, first I want to say I am not with you on the over at all. I understand the concept of an empty netter, pulling the goalie because they're tied. But if they're tied, it's 2-2. An empty netter gets you to 3-2, still under. Otherwise, it's 1-1. That gives us a whole lot of room for empty netters, or it's 3-3, meaning we've already lost the under. If Detroit wins this game tonight, it is likely going to stay under. In their last 10 games, they beat Florida, they held them to 1 goal. They beat Boston, they held them to 1 goal. They beat Utah, they held them to 1 goal. They beat Vegas, they held them to 1 goal. They did beat Carolina, and they held them to 3 goals. But every time Detroit wins a game, a team scores 2 or less goals. So we know what Detroit's, what their game plan is. It's to stifle other teams, keep them down, play great defense, play great goaltending, and hope they can counterattack and put some goals in the net. So I like the under, not the over. But I also like Detroit here, Carm. Detroit is in a situation where if they win in regulation tonight and they win their game in hand, they got a shot. Now, it's an outside shot, and I don't think it'll happen, but I think we're going to get Detroit at their best. The other thing I wanted to mention, and this was what we were talking about at the top of the show with why I played against St. Louis, is Montreal has won 5 games in a row. And during that time span, they outshot Philadelphia 26-23. They played Boston. They outshot them 32-19. Last game they played was in Nashville. They won that game 2-1, but they were outshot by Nashville 37-17. Every single analytics in that game suggests that Montreal is about to take a step backwards. They were 0-4 on the penalty kill, which is great, but they were 0-1 on the power play. I think we're going to see Detroit come out, play their best game of the year. I think Montreal, with 5 straight wins, might find themselves in a letdown spot. Hard to be in a letdown spot in a huge game like this, but also hard to keep your emotions up the entire time. Look, I lean on Detroit at plus 115. I would love Detroit at plus 140, though. I like the under a lot in this hockey game. I think that is a bet that everyone should make.
Talk about the Nashville game. Montreal wins that game 2-1. Again, I'll always mention post-game analytics. The XG in that game was 444 to 1.5 for the Nashville Predators. They win the analytics battle, lose the scoreline, and again, the books grade based on the final score and not on analytics. And to your point of obviously the importance of winning regulation tonight and winning that game in hand. I think the advantage obviously still lies and will lie with the Montreal Canadiens, because if you look at the schedules for these two teams to close out, Montreal plays Detroit tonight, then they're in Ottawa to play the Sens, and then they finish it off with the Carolina Hurricanes. That does seem like a tough schedule, but not as tough as Detroit's, where every team they face, Florida, Toronto, maybe very tough about them of something end of back Prez Montreal is all teams, mind you, we're here, and guys, it is time for a new segment or a rebranded segment, but however you want to call it. This is the Pucku same game parlay, and I throw it over to Andy Lang for his play here.
All right, let's go to the Dallas Stars and the Vancouver Canucks for the first ever Pucku same game parlay. We'll start with Matt Duchesne will have a point. He has a point in 6 straight games and 11 out of the last 12, and the Canucks are 20th in goals allowed. I'm also going to take the Dallas Stars over 2.5 goals. The Canucks have let opponents have 3 or more goals in 7 out of the last 9 games. So defense, goaltending not been there. And then we'll add in both teams to score. These stats are crazy. Both teams have scored. That has hit in 23 out of the last 24 games for Vancouver and 27 out of 28 for Dallas. So that's going to get us to plus 112 on DraftKings. So Duchesne will have a point. Stars over 2.5 goals. Both teams to score. There you go, Carm. There's your Pucku parlay.
I like it, Andy. Let's get that one. Anytime you get some really nice plus money, it is always a good one. And there might have been an audio freeze with me before I threw it to you. What I had mentioned was the strength of schedules. Detroit's got a very tough schedule to finish off the season, playing all playoff-bound teams. Montreal's is slightly easier, so the odds are stacked, I think, against Detroit. Obviously at the moment. And then I mentioned that all 3 meetings between these two have gone over the total, 6 or more goals scored in those ones. All right. Whether there's goals tonight or not in this final game, we're going to find out from the Prez. Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado Avalanche. Prez, I'm going to make this short. I like the under in this game. I will say this. There have been times where in the past where I look at this Vegas Golden Knights in Colorado one and I'm like, oh, this looks like a dead under. And then it's 8-4 like it was to start the season this year. But there's a lot of 3-1s and 2-1s on the matchups between these two. I'm still going to stick with the under. We're seeing a lot of games at 5.5 and at 6 and trending to unders, kind of like last night. What are your thoughts on this one?
Carm, I really don't want to overthink this game. I got one of the best teams in all of hockey at home off of a loss on a short price against a team that's playing for nothing. I understand Colorado ultimately is playing for nothing as well, but they did lose their last game to St. Louis with incredible analytics. We spoke about that already. And they also played terribly on the penalty kill last game. I think we see Colorado come out flying tonight. I like them in the first period. I like them on the game at minus 135.
All right. Andy, I love that top, by the way. Is that a team top that you're wearing, or is it just like a regular top?
So Andy won a contest.
Oh, did I? What was the contest?
He had one last year.
The contest is buy one, and get 9 for free.
There you go.
He actually had one last year that I looked online to try and find it, and they didn't have it in my size because I'm a slight beer belly, even though I don't drink beer anymore. But it was I loved it. It was it looked like the rubber ball from that movie, the original movie, The Changeling. I'm not sure if you ever saw The Changeling with the guy who throws his kid's ball who had passed away into the water, comes home, and the wet ball is bouncing down the stairs. It was white, red, and blue. Absolutely love that top, Andy. Anyways, give us a play on this game.
Let's go. I agree with the under here, guys. So I'll take Nathan McKinnon under 1.5 points. He's gone under in 11 out of 13 games. Doesn't do well against Vegas. Under in 4 out of the last 5 times he's played Vegas. Vegas playing pretty decent defense. Only 9 goals allowed in the last 5 away games. So just a lot for guys to get 2 points in some of these games. So McKinnon probably saving himself a little bit for the playoffs. So I'll take him under 1.5 points tonight.
All right. There you have it, guys. 3 takes on the Leafs and Florida, Detroit, Montreal, Vegas, Colorado, Andy's Pucku same game parlay. So let's get some end of the show best bets, free plays, whatever you want to call them. And Prez, I will go to you first.
Yes.
Fresh off your 5% winner. Congratulations. Don't throw your shoulder, patting yourself on the back. Let us know what you have up at WagerTalk and give us a show free play.
Why? Thank you for asking, Carmen. If I was going to throw a shoulder out, patting myself on the back, I would have thrown it out yesterday, the day before, 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 and the day before that as well. I am on a 12-2 NHL run. And one of those losses was the Ovechkin shot total on Friday. So technically I'm on a 13-1 run, except some scorekeeper had a brain fart and cost me a dub. With that said, I'm not going to complain, although I just did. I'm on a 12-2 NHL run. I'm the most profitable NHL expert at WagerTalk, and I have been almost all year. I got a 4% play up tonight. These 4% plays are super rare, Carm. 13-5 in my last 18 big NHL bets. I love my play tonight. Make sure to grab that. Also, the blue line has just went live on WagerTalk TV about a minute ago. Myself and Matthew Barnaby take apart every single NHL game on the board. And of course, Carmine joined us today to give out some prop bets. We have WagerTalk today starting at noon. We got a great lineup. Carmine will be on that show as well. I'm triple dipping with the Carm today. He's got a championship bet for us on PSG and Aston Villa. So those are all the promotions. As far as my best bet goes, I like the under in the Florida Leafs game. That's my show best bet. Thanks for having me, Carmen. Guys, if you don't mind taking a second out of your day and hitting that like button, it would be greatly appreciated. Also, we're less than 700 people away from 200,000 subscribers. If you have not subscribed to our channel on YouTube, please, we'd really like to get to 200,000 subscribers in the next day or two. We are on a race for 200,000 subscribers. It means a lot to us to get to that number. So if you have not subscribed to our channel, do so. And for the people who have not hit the like button in 32 minutes, I don't get it, Carm. Thank you for having me, brother.
Seeing you and appreciate you filling in for Andrew McInnes. I usually get a message from him. It's been 48 hours. I haven't heard from him. Hopefully he hasn't fallen overboard on that cruise that he's on. But he did buy the drink package, so who knows? He might have.
He did?
With that said, guys, we are close to the 200K, as Prez mentioned. So please hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be doing a ton of daily free play videos throughout my trip through Italy from different places in Italy. I daily pick one. You'll see them on YouTube Shorts. You'll see it on my Instagram, and you'll see it on my TikTok, which WagerTalk will. It'll show up on the WagerTalk TikTok channel as well too. So make sure you follow all of those, subscribe to them as well too. It is going to be a bankroll challenge, and it's going to be a fun 14 days of doing that as well too. Andy, give us a show free play and let us know what you have up on $5 Customer Appreciation Day over at WagerTalk.
Well, for $5 play, we got a Masters play that is up. This is so far the biggest week for us in 2025. At the end of the year, it's still going to be one of the biggest weeks we have. So we're running a 7-day pass, WT.buzz/AL. It's instant discount down to $69. Listen, we've got Masters. We got a 5% UFC play. We're 8-1 on 5% plays in 2025. And we also have a 5% PFL play that is up for all access clients. So it's a huge week. We're number one in MMA profits. We're just coming off of an NHL winner last night, and we're on a 46-19 NBA run. So the 7-day pass gets you every single play across every single sport. We're up 20 units in the last 7 days, and there's just absolutely no reason to not take advantage of it. It is one of the biggest weeks that we're going to have, and we're looking forward to profiting another week. So WT.buzz/AL for the show best bet. I just have to bring up Zach Werenski. I had no idea this guy had this many shots on goal. He's 5th in the league in shots on goal. So I'll take him over 3.5 shots tonight. This is insane, guys. He's averaging 11 shot attempts in his last 10 games. 11 times he lines up and fires the puck. 5.3 of them are getting to the goal. So 5.3 shots on goal the last 3 games. And the last 4 times he's played Ottawa, 8-5-5-5-5 shots on goal. He is just a puck firing machine. So Zach Werenski, I know it's a big number, but he's consistently going over, and he's averaging 3.7 shots on goal this year. So shout out to Zach Werenski. I had no idea he was shooting the puck this much this year.
All right. Love it. He's having a fantastic season. Unfortunately, there's a guy called Cale Makar, which is stopping him from winning the Norris Trophy this season. Myself, there's a $5 play up in afternoon Champions League. It's 3 p.m. game. And then the minute that goes off the board, I have already loaded a 5%, sorry, not a 5%, a best bet tonight, 4% play in the NHL, which will be available for $5 as well too. The office suggested to do that. So that won't be available until 3 o'clock, but it is up in the back end for our NHL subscribers. As far as my best bet goes, guys, I'm going to go to the New Jersey Devils in regulation, minus 160. This is a team that's playing well at the right time, playing well defensively. And for lack of a better, it's been it's been a disastrous season and end to the season for the Boston Bruins. They have about 4 games left. I don't expect them to compete in any of those 4 games. They've lost 11 of 12 games. They took a 2-0 lead against the Buffalo Sabres and then allowed 6 of the next 7 goals to lose 6-3. This Bruins team is already in their minds in Florida golfing. The offseason has started for them. Give me the New Jersey Devils in regulation, minus 160 in this spot. Guys, again, $5 customer appreciation over at WagerTalk. Take advantage and get as many cappers as you want. We always appreciate your comments in our comment section and the respect you guys have for each other in the live video. That is absolutely great. So for myself, Andy Lang, the Prez, and our award-winning producer, Dan Alexander, this is Puck Time. We'll see you on Wednesday.